Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry. Today I'm going to start talking about how we designed our solar system and a bunch of different alternatives that you can have at your place. If you look on the internet, you'll find a lot of people who talk about a 6-step process to design a solar system. Well, 6 steps, 5 steps, 7 steps, it really doesn't matter. There's just a lot of ways to go about doing design. But there's a lot of gotchas when you're looking at designing a solar electric system. There's a lot of different kinds of designs. There's all manner of different kinds of designs. They each serve a different purpose. Here on our place, we needed to have electricity. The closest power pole to our place is about 6.2 miles in a straight line. And unfortunately, there's no straight lines that you can go between our place and those power poles. The cost to run a power line to our place is absolutely out of the question. Besides, we really don't want to be relying on the public utility for our electricity. So let's talk about what you need to consider when you're looking at a solar system. Well, first off, you need to figure out, is this something that you're going to be using to offset your electric bills with the public utility? Or is this a system that you want to run your entire house? The choice is really pretty important and it's pretty stark. The lowest cost way to go about designing a solar system that's going to go onto a conventional house is to use what's called a grid-tied system. Now, there's all manner of people who will do the design work for you. Unfortunately, it requires you to have the right kind of permits, the right kind of design paperwork, and a lot of other factors in order to make this process work. So let's talk briefly about some of the things that impact those decisions. Well, a lot of folks jump immediately to how many solar panels do I need? Or how many batteries do I need? Or what kind of inverter do I need? But that's not where you want to start. The first question to ask is, do I have enough solar exposure on my property to make investing in solar viable? By viable, I mean, is it going to be cost effective? The question of cost effectiveness depends upon your worldview, what's important to you. If you want to have solar in order to cut down on your carbon footprint, that's doable. That's one set of things that you can care about. Another one is, I want a lower cost. In our case, we wanted electricity to start with. The only alternative for us is a solar-powered system. Fortunately, we have a clear view of the southern sky. Our house is situated in an east-west orientation so that we have one wall that gets solar gain all winter long. We have large windows so the sun streams in through those windows and washes across the floor. That heats up the slab, which retains heat for us. It gives off the heat during the night. If you live in a traditional subdivision, you'll see all different kinds of orientations. Some roofs will be north-south, some will be east-west, some will be on an angle. It all depends on the topography of the land. So the developer sites houses where it's going to provide the most value to the developer, not necessarily the most value for you as a homeowner to gain access to solar. So the first thing is you want to go about checking your site for appropriate orientation for solar gain. Where you live doesn't matter. What does matter is what the latitude of your place is. The closer to the equator, the more solar gain you'll have. Here in northern Arizona, we get about 6 hours a day of good solar gain right now. So this is the beginning of November. We have tremendous solar gain. Now, when I designed this system, I planned on 4 hours a day. mostly because I'm a pessimist when it comes to engineering. People immediately think about how many solar panels do I need in order to run my place. That's not a simple question to answer. It depends upon the number of solar panels that you're going to have, the orientation, your latitude. Surprisingly enough, it depends on the type of batteries that you're using in your system. I'm going to talk in a lot more detail about batteries, but to give you an overview, I had 6 2-volt batteries in series. That means they were hooked negative to positive to create a 12-volt battery, and had tremendous amount of storage capacity. But I couldn't charge it as fast as I could with a lithium iron phosphate battery. Now, when I designed the system 16 years ago, lithium batteries were not really something that was practical. Suddenly, it was more practical because so many electric vehicles were built using lithium batteries. Now, there's a lot of different lithium battery chemistries out there, and which one you use is going to have a big impact. But the difference between a lead-acid battery and a lithium battery is primarily in how much energy you can draw from it at one time, and more importantly, how fast you can put energy back in. The lithium batteries that we're currently using here can put in energy at 3 times the rate of those large lead-acid batteries that I had. The downside to lithium batteries is they cost more money. I have about twice as many dollars in batteries as I would have if I'd used the same flooded lead-acid batteries. On the other hand, they charge up really, really fast. And when I talk about how to design the system in some detail, we'll talk about how those kinds of parameters will affect your system design. Inverters. That's what turns DC power from the battery into AC power that you can use in your house. Well, you can also use DC power in your house too, but there's reasons why you may not want to do that. The primary reason is what's called line loss. Because a battery that's typically used in most solar systems when they start off is a 12-volt battery, you lose an awful lot of energy going from the battery to the points of use within your home. Whether it's a light, whether it's a fan, a 12-volt TV, really doesn't matter. You have a lot of loss in the wires that go between the battery and the appliance. So an inverter converts DC into AC, that is normal house power, so that you can use normal appliances. The good thing about that is normal household 120 volt appliances are very cost effective. Getting a 12 volt or propane powered refrigerator or freezer is a lot more expensive. We paid about twice as much for our refrigerator because it runs on propane as we would have had we just run it on 120. The rest of the system depends upon how it's being installed and where it's being installed. We'll talk some about what a power company requires in order to hook a solar system into their grid. And more importantly, we'll talk about what National Electrical Code requires and what your county may require, or your town. Well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you get an idea about the complexity of designing an effective solar electric system. We'll let you know how our solar system works over time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications because there's a lot more of this going on. We're doing a lot more work out in the greenhouse. Irene's down in the studio working on some of her enamel work. We have something that's new on the homestead that we're going to show you later on this week. Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later. Bye.